Hey guys, it's Olivia and I'm back with another video. So, my very first video ever was a tag video and it was the get to know me tag. I don't remember exactly how many questions were in there, 10, 15, 20, I don't know. There were a few questions in there where I basically just let you know a little bit about myself because it was my first video ever, meaning none of you guys knew who I was. And so I feel like that video is a little bit outdated. Maybe my answers wouldn't be the same, except for like, what's your name? Like, that's obviously still the same. But I feel like I've changed and such. So I wanted to make another questions video. This video is the 50 questions I've never been asked tag. I've actually never heard of this tag. I just kind of stumbled upon it on the internet. I don't think it's very popular now. I think it was popular a couple of years ago, but I'm doing it now because I feel like you guys know a lot of opinions that I have on things, but you might not know specific things about me. So that's what I'm going to answer in this video. But before we get into the video, be sure to subscribe to my channel because I make new videos every Monday. I make anywhere from tag videos like this to rant videos to how to make money online videos. And with all that being said, let's get into this week's video. So I'm just going to be reading the questions off of my phone. If you watch my live streams, then you know that I have a very hard time just simply answering yes or no to a question, and I tend to be the type of person to explain things. However, there are 50 questions here, so I'm going to try not to do that for all of them because then we would be here forever. So, depending on the length of this video, which I don't know yet, did I do a good job of making it short? I don't know. I'll find out after I edit the video. So, question one. What's your favorite candle scent? I don't know. I don't really have a lot of candles. In my old setup, I used to have a candle behind me. I don't know what scent it is. It didn't have a label on it, but whatever scent that is, I like that scent. I remember when I was in the third grade, I made a candle and it was the same scent as the candle that I used to have in my background. And once again, I don't know what scent it is. I think it's like beeswax or something bee related because I remember once I like smelt beeswax and it's smelled like that candle. Therefore, I like the smell of beeswax. Is that weird? I don't know. Questions 2 and 3 I'm going to put together. So question 2 is what female celebrity do you wish was your sister? And question 3 is what male celebrity do you wish was your brother? Honestly, I don't follow celebrities like that. Like if somebody's an actor, I would know a lot about their character, but I don't know a lot about the specific person. And if someone's a singer, I might know all the lyrics to all their songs, but I've never watched an interview by them. I don't know why they wrote that song, who they wrote it for, etc., etc. So I don't really know a lot about the people behind the art. Therefore, I can't be like, oh my gosh, I wish I was related to this person. No, because I don't know you, so I can't answer questions 2 or 3. Question 4, how old do you think you'll be when you get married? I don't know. I'm currently 20. I'm about to be 21 in 2 months, and I don't have anybody in my life right now. So I have no clue. I would like to get married in my 20s. Will that happen? I don't know. But that's the goal. Like within the next decade, I hope to be married, committed relationship, vows, and such. But what exact age? I don't know. Question 5, do you know a hoarder? Not that I know of. I find that from watching Hoarding Buried Alive a lot, that people don't tend to broadcast it like, hey, did you know that my house is disgusting and you can't walk through it? Yeah, people wouldn't broadcast it. So even if I did know a hoarder, I wouldn't know that I knew one. I would call myself a digital hoarder, as in I have every single piece of footage I've ever filmed, and I have multiple channels. So I have every single piece of raw footage for the almost 200 videos on this channel, and then my streaming channel, which used to be a vlogging channel, I did over 100 vlogs on there, and I have all the footage from that. And so I have over 3 terabytes of video footage, which is 3,000 gigabytes, and I keep it all. Am I using it for anything? No. But will I ever be deleting it? No, I will not. So I am a digital hoarder. Question number 6. Can you do a split? No, I cannot. I can barely touch my toes. Like, I can touch my toes on a good day. I'm not a flexible person. The last time I remember doing the splits was when I was 3 years old, and that was 17 years ago. So, yeah. Question 7. How old were you when you learned to ride a bike? I was 3. Question 8. How many oceans have you swam in? 1. Whichever ocean surrounds Jamaica, that one. Question 9. How many countries have you been to? Canada, where I'm from, America, and Jamaica. I am not a very well-traveled person yet, but I hope to be within the next decade. Hopefully my answers will be different. Hopefully I'll be like, oh, I've been to here and here and here and here. I hope to be a well-traveled person. Ask me this question again in about 10 years and we'll see where I've been. Question 10. Is anyone in your family in the Army? Not in my immediate family. I believe I have cousins who have been in the Army. I don't think they currently are. I have a very big family. I haven't met every member of my family. I've literally met some of my cousins for the first time in May of this year. So I believe that I have had family members who were in the Army, but not currently to my knowledge. So questions 11 and 12, once again, I'm going to put them together. So question 11 is, what would you name your daughter if you had one? And question 12 is, what would you name your son if you had one? Let me tell you something. I have baby names picked out, even though in an earlier question, we already established that I'm not in a relationship, which means I ain't having no kids anytime soon, you know what I mean? But like, I still have names picked out so that when the time comes, I'm ready. I have great names. They're picked out. Am I going to tell you what they are? No, I'm not. You want to know why? Because in my personal opinion, they're so good that you're going to steal them. And I can't have you teething my names. Let me tell you why. So I'm 20, right? I'm not in a relationship. I ain't having no kids anytime soon, right? Let's say you're older than me, you're in a serious relationship. Let's say you're with child at this point in time, and I were to tell you my baby names, and you're like, oh my gosh, those are so great. I never thought of those. And then you name your kid that, and then like 5 years from now, I have a kid, and then I name my kid that. It's gonna seem like I copied you, when in reality, you copied me because you took it from this video. Let me tell you when you will find out my baby names. You will find out my baby names after I've had my kid, after I have signed the birth certificate, after there is the date, hey, this is the date that I named my kid. And then if you name your kid that same name after that, then there's proof, there's documentation that I named my kid that before you did, which means you copied me. So in like 5-10 years time, that's when you'll know, because I can't have you teething my names before I get to use them. Question 13, what's the worst grade you got on a test? Whew, if I was still in high school, the answer would have been like a B. But I'm in university, and I'm not going to lie to you guys. I have failed a test before. I didn't fail the whole class. Let me tell you something. Failing one test is not the end of the world. That does not mean you're going to fail the class, because a lot of the times tests aren't worth that much. A test might be worth 10%. So if it's the first test and you fail it, then you now know, 1, you need to get your ish together, and 2, you now know how that prof writes their tests, so you know how to study for that prof's tests in the future. So it's just a learning process. So just because I failed that one test didn't mean I failed the class. One bad grade isn't going to ruin your life. I'll tell you that. So yeah, I have failed the test before. I didn't fail the class. It's not the end of the world. Question 14, what was your favorite TV show when you were a child? See, being a child is like a very wide range, but I'm gonna like separate it into 2 subcategories: my treehouse days and my Disney days. I'm gonna list a few shows that I used to watch. Back in my treehouse days, I used to watch a lot of Big Comfy Couch and Max and Ruby and Timothy Goes to School, shows like that. In my Disney days, I used to watch That's So Raven and Lizzie McGuire and The Proud Family, stuff like that. Question 15, what did you dress up as Halloween when you were 8? I actually don't really celebrate Halloween. I've only dressed up for Halloween once. Oh, I guess twice. Okay, the first time I ever dressed up for Halloween was when I was 9, and I was a princess. I just threw on a dress that I had and bought a plastic tiara from the dollar store, and like that was my costume. And then the most recent time I dressed up was this year. It was like a couple weeks ago because that's when Halloween was, and I was a boxer because like my track team was having like this little get together and there was like, oh, dress up, whatever. So I literally just threw on a basketball shorts, a tank top, and boxing gloves that I had because I used to do boxing as a workout. And so yeah, I don't even know if that counts as a costume, but yeah. Number 16, have you ever read any of the Harry Potter, Hunger Games, or Twilight series? Whew, this is going to be one of the questions that I take a little bit of time to answer. Okay, so let's start with Harry Potter. Let me tell you something about Harry Potter. I need both hands. I had to put down my phone because I need to use my hands for this one. Harry Potter. Let me tell you something about Harry Potter. I read the first 2 Harry Potter books and half of the third one. And all I have to say, dear J.K. Rowling, however you pronounce your last name, I don't know. You wrote the same book 7 times or 8 times. I don't know how many books there are. There's too many. Like when you get to like book like 5, 6, 7, they're like this thick, okay? She wrote the same book over and over and over again. Let me tell you what happens in Harry Potter. Let me tell you what happens. So it's like, oh, it's time for him to go to Hogwarts. Then he goes to the train station. He walks through the wall. He waits for the train. He gets on the train. Then he gets to Hogwarts and everything is good. But then it's not. And something's going wrong. I wonder who's behind it. Voldemort. But I'm Harry Potter, so I can fix it. And then he fixes it. 10 points for Gryffindor. And then he goes back home. That's the whole thing. That's what happens in every single book. He starts at home, goes to Hogwarts, everything is good, but then it goes bad, and Voldemort's behind it, and he fixes it. Gryffindor gets 10 points, they win, he goes home. That's the whole thing. That's what happens 7 times. Or I've only read the first 2 books and half of the third one, and the first 3 books start exactly the same. I'm like, girl, you just copied and pasted books 1, 2, 3. You copied the beginning. Like, that's what you did. And then the middle is, oh, something happened. We're going to figure it out. I figured it out because I'm Harry Potter. Oh, and I threw in some Quidditch. And then I went home. Like, that's it. That's it. That's all it is. I'm sorry. I'm not a Harry Potter fan. And if all you Harry Potter fans are going to come after me, you can do that. But nah, this woman copied and pasted the same book. And she made bare money. She made bare money from all the book sales and the movie deal. Yo, she's rich. And she just wrote the same book 7 times. Like, I can't. As for Hunger Games is good. I watched the movies before I read the books. And I would say that the movies are quite accurate. Obviously, they had to take out little details because if you include every single detail from a book into a movie, you're going to have a 10-hour movie. So I get it. I get that you can't include everything, but everything they did include, they included all the important things, all the things that push the narrative forward and make you feel for the characters and all that good stuff. They did a very good job with the adaptation of that book and like the book to movie, and all of them are great. I heard people saying that they didn't like the ending. I loved the ending. It tied everything up. It gave you hope for the future of Pan Am. And like, I just loved it. It was great. As for Twilight, let me tell you something. I don't know anything about Twilight. Like, let me tell you what I know about Twilight. I know that Edward is a vampire. And I know that Taylor Lautner's character is a werewolf. I don't even know what his character's name is. To be honest, I'm not even joking. Team Edward, team whatever. I don't even remember the other team. He was a werewolf. Taylor Lautner was a werewolf. And then Bella is just like a human or whatever. And then there's this love triangle. And then I think she chooses Edward. I don't actually know. I just think she does because like the 2 like main characters ended up dating in real life, and like sometimes like on-screen romance turns into real life romance. So I just assumed that they ended up together in the movie, and that's why they ended up together in real life like however many years ago. I don't know, but whatever. So I think she ends up with him, and they have a kid, and then she just like grows up like really fast or something. I don't even know what happens. Like, if this is your first ever exposure to Twilight, and I'm like, oh, so there was this love triangle with a werewolf and a vampire, and then the human and the vampire had a kid who grew up really fast. Oh my gosh, like if that was your first description that you've ever heard of Twilight, you're probably just as confused as I am, because that's literally all I know. I don't know anything that went on. I don't know why she chose this or that or whatever. I don't care. I never got into Twilight. Those books are thick, and the movies just didn't look interesting. So that's that. Number 17. would you rather have an American accent or a British accent? That is too vague of a question because, like, in America, there's so many accents. Like, you could have, like, a Southern accent, or you could have, like, a Valley Girl accent or whatever. So, or you could sound like me, even though I'm not American, but I know Americans who speak the way I do. So, I don't even know. And then with a British accent, I'm pretty sure that it's the same thing. Like, people from the North sound different than people from the South. So, like, that's too broad. I'll just stick with the accent that I have. 18. Did your mother go to college? Yes, she did. My mother is a teacher, so I'm pretty sure you have to go to post-secondary for that. So, yeah, my mom went to college. Number 19. Are your grandparents still married? Yes, they are. My grandparents have been married for over 60 years at this point. They celebrated their 60th anniversary a couple of years ago, so it might be coming up 62 years, 63 years. So, yeah. Number 20, have you ever taken karate lessons? No, I almost did. Like, I went into a dojo once and, like, my dad spoke to, like, the person at the front desk, got information about it, blah, 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 but it never actually happened. Number 21, do you know who Kermit the Frog is? Yes, he is a Muppet. I feel like maybe some people, when they answered this question, like, oh yeah, he's the meme. Because maybe kids nowadays, they've never watched the Muppets. I don't know. But he's a Muppet originally. Now he's a meme. He's over the internet, all over the internet, but he's a Muppet. Okay? Number 22, what's the first amusement park you've ever been to? I'm going to say Wonderland, which is an amusement park in Toronto. Unless you count Exhibition or Ontario Place. If you count those, then Exhibition is the first amusement park I ever went to. The first time I ever went there, I was probably like 3 or 4. And the last time I went there was probably when I was like 7 or 8. Like, I haven't been to the Exhibition in a very long time, but that's the first one that I went to, if we're talking, if that counts. If it doesn't, then the first one I went to was Wonderland, and I went there when I was 15 in the 9th grade. Number 23, what language besides your native language would you like to be fluent in? I would like to be fluent in French simply because I took French for 8 years. I took French from grades 4 to 12 because they're like, oh, if you take French throughout all of high school, you'll be fluent. They lied. They lied. In Ontario, you are only required to take French from grades 4 to 9. After that, it's an elective. So, like, if you're using up your electives in grades 10, 11, and 12. Electives that you could be doing things that you actually like to take French because you're supposedly fluent. Nah, you ain't gonna be fluent. One of the French teachers in my high school, she was like, oh, that's what I did. I took French throughout high school, and now look at me, I'm a French teacher. So I'm like, okay, true. Took French throughout high school. All I can say is bonjour. That's it. That's all I got. So I want to learn French, not because I necessarily think it's the coolest language ever, no offense to French people, but because I feel like I wasted 8 years of my life, and if I could finally speak French, then I wouldn't feel like I wasted my time. Number 24, do you spell gray as Grey or Gray? I spell it with an A. I don't know which one's more right. I don't care. Number 25, is your father bald? No, my father has a full head of hair. Some of it is turning gray, but he still has all his hair. He's not bald in the middle and like has that on the side. No, he has a full head of hair. Number 26, do you know triplets? Yes and no. I know a guy who is a triplet, but I've never met his other siblings. So I know him, and I know that he has 2 other siblings who came out the womb at the same time, but I haven't met the other 2 siblings, so I don't know if that counts. Number 27, do you prefer Titanic or The Notebook? Once again, I need to put my phone down for this one, okay? Titanic. I have never watched Titanic because I know how it ends. The boat sinks, okay? I am not gonna spend 2+ hours of my time to get to the ending that I already knew was gonna happen. So I've never watched Titanic. As for The Notebook, I've seen The Notebook twice, and I don't even know why I watched it the second time because I didn't even really like it after the first time. Like, I feel like when people think chick flick, they think The Notebook, and I don't even know why, because in my personal opinion, I would say that A Walk to Remember is better than The Notebook, so I don't know, but I don't even think The Notebook is that good. I really don't, so I choose neither of them. I choose A Walk to Remember. Like, the only thing that I rate The Notebook for is that the 2 main characters are Canadian, Rachel McAdams, Ryan Gosling. Thank you for representing the North in, like, a very big, very well-known movie, but, like, that's the only part that I like about it, that there's Canadians in it, but, like, other than that, not a fan. Number 28, have you ever had Indian food? Yes, when I was in the 1st and 2nd grade, my next door neighbor, who was my best friend at the time, was Indian, and I would go over to her house and eat dinner there and stuff like that. So yes, I've had Indian food many times. Number 29, what's the name of your favorite restaurant? I don't know if I have a favorite restaurant. I feel like in order to have a favorite restaurant, you would have had to have eaten at many different ones and then be able to compare them, and that just sounds expensive and I don't have money. So I haven't eaten at a lot of restaurants, so I don't think I have a favorite. Any restaurant I go to, I order pasta. So if that restaurant can make good pasta, I like that restaurant. Question 30, have you ever been to Olive Garden? No. To my knowledge, there is no Olive Garden in Canada, and anytime that I have been to America, I just haven't gone. Question 31, do you belong to any warehouse stores such as Costco? No, my family does not have a Costco membership. Question 32, what would your parents have named you if you were the opposite gender? I asked my dad this once and he didn't remember. So yeah, and like my mom was like, I don't know if she came up with boy names, like, because my dad named my brothers and my mom named me. So I just feel like my mom was just like dead set on Olivia Grace Henry. That's my full name in case you don't know. So I don't even know if she came up with boy names, but my dad can't remember the name that he had for me. Number 33, if you have a nickname, what is it? Since my name is Olivia, I have the basic nickname of Livy. Feel free to call me that if you want. I don't know. My, like, cousins and aunts and uncles tend to call me that. People call me O. Very few people call me Liv. I'm not a big fan of Liv. You can, but it's not my favorite. But yeah, those are a few. Number 34, who's your favorite person in the world? Myself. And maybe that sounds conceited, but I don't care. And I'm not going to say anybody else because I don't need people being like, oh my gosh, I thought we were close to that. I don't need the drama of like people thinking I was going to say one person and I said somebody else. So I'm going to say myself because one, I don't need people coming for me. And two, it's true. If you are not the number one person in your life, what is you doing? Number 35, would you rather live in a rural area or the suburbs? Suburbs, easy. When I think rural, I think house, land. Like you don't have any neighbors. Like God forbid if like somebody were to like come and like try to rob you or like try and kill you, ain't nobody gonna hear you scream because you live in the middle of nowhere. You don't have street lights. You don't even have a driveway. You just like park on the grass in front of your house. Like no, that's not the ideal lifestyle for me. Obviously people live in rural areas and they enjoy it and that's fine, but that's not it for me. I grew up in the suburbs. I don't have any desire to live anywhere other than the suburbs. I know that a lot of young adults want to move to the city, like when they're single, they get their first condo out in Toronto, even though it's hella expensive for no good reason. Or like they like just got married, so they moved to Toronto. So it's like when they're in their like single or like newlywed life, that's where they live. But then as soon as you have kids, you want to know where you're going to move, the suburbs, because that is the best place to grow your kids. That's where all the other kids are. That's where all the schools are, blah, 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 blah. So it's like, you're just going to come back to the suburbs anyways. So I don't know why I'm going to leave to come right back. Like, nah. Number 36, can you whistle? Yes, I can. There we go. I learned how to whistle when I was like 3 or 4. Number 37, do you sleep with a nightlight? See, this is another one where I have to put my phone down for because I have a lot to say. I do not sleep with the nightlight. I sleep with the whole lamp. Let me tell you something. A nightlight is this big, and then you plug it into the corner, and then it illuminates like 2 centimeters of your room. Nah, I sleep with a whole lamp. I have a lamp. It's a touch lamp where like you touch it and like it gets brighter, and then when you touch it another time it like turns off. Yeah, I have one of those. Okay, this is the lamp I've had literally my whole entire life. Like, you know how like when you're like expecting a child, how you like set up a nursery? Yeah, so that lamp was in the nursery before I was even born. That lamp that is in my room right now is older than me. Okay, I've been had this lamp, and when I move out, I'm taking that lamp with me. Okay, let me tell you something. I sleep with the lamp not because I'm afraid of the dark, but because I just want to be able to see. Like, if I wake up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom or to get a glass of water or to get a snack or something, I don't want to be bumping into this and stubbing my toe on that and tripping over whatever. No, I just want to be able to see where I'm going. Like, oh, there's my door. Touch the doorknob, open it, leave. Like, I don't know why you just want to be waking up in darkness. I don't know why you want to be going to sleep in darkness. I don't get that. And like, I'll sleep in the dark. Like, for example, I am a track athlete, so I will go away to meets. And so when you're staying in a hotel, typically you share a room with one of your teammates, right? And so typically people in my age bracket tend to sleep with the lights off. So that's fine. If I'm like sleeping overnight 2 nights, I'll sleep in the dark. I don't care. I can sleep in the dark. I don't lose sleep. I don't wake up the next morning and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to compete at my best because I couldn't sleep last night. No, I slept fine. I can sleep in the dark. I just don't want to. If I'm in the comfort of my own home, that lamp is on. If there's a power outage and it's dark, yeah, sure, I'll sleep in the dark. But if I have electricity and I have a fresh bulb in my lamp, the lamp is on. I sleep with the light on. Let me tell you something. Whoever marries me, you're gonna have to learn to sleep with the light on because that's what we're doing. Like, I can sleep in the dark 1-2 nights. I am not gonna sleep in the dark for the next 40 plus years. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not coming to the dark side. You're coming to the light side. Let's just put it this way. If you can't sleep in the light, then you can't sleep with me. Number 38, do you eat breakfast every morning? No, I don't have time. Sometimes I'll stop and like buy a bagel from Tim Hortons or something, but a lot of times my first meal is well after noon. Number 39, do you take any pills or medication daily? No, but I do take vitamins, like just to keep myself healthy and such. Number 40, what medical conditions do you have? I have asthma. I'm pretty sure I was born with it or I got it from a young age. I don't remember a time when I didn't have it. I don't have it really bad. Like, I've never had an asthma attack in my life. I haven't used an inhaler in like over a decade. Yeah, like when I was in elementary school, I did cross country. Don't ask me why. I did cross country and like when I would finish a race, I'd be like, but like other than that, like there's never been a time for me to need to use it. Like, I don't even have a prescription. I haven't filled a prescription for an inhaler in a very long time. I don't even have one. Like, I don't have an emergency one. I don't really need it. Question 41. How many times have you been to the hospital? Once, maybe twice. The first time was when I was 7. I got a scratch on my eye. I don't know how, but it's like, you know how when your phone screen is cracked, so it's like screen, line, screen. That's like how my vision looked. Like, there was like just like a line through my eye. And then so I went to the hospital and they like flushed out my eye, put eye drops, put like this like cream in it, and then put an eye patch on, and I wore that overnight. And the next morning I went to a walk-in clinic. They took off the patch, checked my eye, I was fine, and then just went on from there. Like, everything's been fine since then, other than the fact that I wear glasses, but it's not a result of that. It's just a result of too many screens in my life. And the second time, which might not be the second time, I don't remember. Before that, when I was 6 years old, I got hit in the head with a baseball bat. That is a whole other story. It was an accident, I assure you. It was a complete accident. I got hit in the head with a baseball bat, and I don't know if I went to the hospital or just to a doctor, but I did see a medical professional to see if I had like any brain damage or anything, which I do not. I am fine. But yeah, so that is a thing that happened, and I did see a medical professional. I just don't remember if it was just like in a clinic or in an actual hospital. Question 42, have you ever seen Finding Nemo? Yes, I saw it the year it came out, as every child should have. Question 43, where do you buy your jeans? I buy my jeans from Ardeen. I'm not gonna go to Blue Notes and spend $40 on jeans. Ardeen sells jeans for $5. That's my budget. $5 jeans. And they look cute. So why are you gonna pay $40 to look the same? Question 44, what's the last compliment you got? Yesterday, I went to buy Chinese food, and the woman who was serving me, she was like, oh my gosh, I love your hair. And I was like, thanks. So yeah, compliment on her. I feel like so nice getting complimented on this specific hairstyle because I did it myself. So I'm proud of me. 45, do you usually remember your dreams in the morning? Yes and no. So a lot of times I'll wake up and I'll remember my dream, but like 9 times out of 10, my dreams don't even make sense. So it's just like, okay, yeah, whatever, that happened. And then other times it's like a recurring dream. So obviously I remember it because I've had it like 4 or 5 times. And then other times I'll wake up and I'll be like, oh, I didn't have a dream, whatever. 2 weeks later, I just held up a 1. 2 weeks later, I will like, something will happen and I'll be like, oh my gosh, like I dreamt that. Like, it'll be like a deja vu moment, and it happens so often. Like, I'm not like trying to say I can tell the future or something, but like I will dream something, not remember I dreamt it, and then it actually happens, and then I remember that I dreamt it. So like, let's just pretend I can tell the future, which I can't, but let's just pretend. That is the worst superpower if you can't even remember until it happens. Like, it's not even like you can stop something from happening because you don't even remember that you knew it was going to happen until it already happened. So yeah. Question 46. What flavored tea do you enjoy? I typically drink green tea or a black tea, not black as in no milk, no sugar, but just like black tea. And 47. How many pairs of shoes do you currently own? I would say I own like 15 to 20 pairs of shoes, but I only really wear 4 of them. Like, I wear Adidas shoes that my cousin gave to me. I'm not really a name brand person, but she had them. She wasn't wearing them, so she gave them to me. So I have my Adidas shoes, which are like my everyday shoes. I have my combat boots, which are like my winter boots because I don't like winter boots. I just think they're too chunky. And then I have my running shoes because I do track and field, so those are the shoes that I practice in. And then I have my spikes, which are my shoes that I compete in for track and field. So those are the 4 shoes that I wear on a regular basis, and the rest of them are just sitting on a shoe rack in my room. Like, I have like heels and sandals and stuff like that, but I don't really have anywhere to wear them to. Like, I'm literally wearing a hoodie right now. Like, imagine me wearing a hoodie, sweatpants, and heels. Like, that doesn't make sense. So I have like these nice dress shoes that I don't have anywhere to wear them to, so they just sit there. Question 49. What religion will you raise your children to practice? I am a Christian, so that. I will be raising my children Christian. 49. How old were you when you found out Santa wasn't real? I don't think I ever believed in Santa, mainly because I have 2 older brothers, and by the time I was old enough to understand the concept of Santa Claus, they already found out it wasn't real, so like, they just told me from the jump, so I don't think I ever believed in Santa Claus. And finally, question 50. Why do you have a Tumblr? I do not. The only thing I know about Tumblr is like back in the day, or I don't know if it's still like this, but like years ago, I remember like Tumblr quotes being shared on Twitter, and it was just like, let's say it was a picture of 2 people holding hands, and then there was like a relationship quote on top of it. That's what I knew Tumblr to be. I've never typed in tumblr.com. So like, I don't even know what the website itself even looks like. But now, from what I've gathered, Tumblr is a little bit more explicit now. And so I don't really want any part of it. So they went from sharing relationship quotes to other stuff. Or maybe there's always been the other stuff, but all the relationship quote people moved on to other platforms, so now there's only the explicit stuff left. I don't know. But yeah, I've never been on Tumblr. I've never had a Tumblr blog. I don't even know how to use Tumblr. Like, if I ever made a Tumblr right now, which I don't even think it makes sense, but let's say I did make a Tumblr account right now, I'd be like one of those like middle-aged people who's like, oh, I'm on the internet. Like, I wouldn't know what to do. I'd be like, click. Like, I don't know how to tumble. Is that what it's called? Like, on Twitter you tweet, on Tumblr do you tumble? I literally just made a dad joke. I'm so upset with myself. Anyways, so those are the 50 questions I've never been asked. I hope you enjoyed this tag. I hope you learned a little bit about me, a little bit about, I don't know, just like an updated version of my very first video ever. If you want to watch my very first video ever, I'll like link it in a card, or maybe I already did at some point in this video. But yeah, this is an updated, more camera presence filled version, because my first video was like, hi, I'm Olivia, this is my YouTube channel, and like this video was like, so let me tell you some stuff about me. So this is just like kind of an updated version of my very first video, and you can see how much I've grown, and just learning a little bit more about me, since I never really talk, like I never really just like answer questions about myself. So yeah, that's all for this week's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you think your friends will enjoy it, be sure to share it with them. All my social media links will be down below in case you want to follow me on there. Be sure to subscribe to my channel because I make new videos every Monday, and I'll see you next Monday with a new video. Number 34, what's, no, whoop.